Alright, so today we're going to look at solving these three variable system of equations using word problems. So looking at the very bottom of your 3-4 notes, we have three word problems that we're going to work today's examples. First thing you have to do is kind of identify what your variables are. It really helps you keep track of the equation, and one way to identify the variables is to use the question to help you out. So looking here at exercise number 1, Carly is training for a triathlon. In her training routine each week, she runs 7 times as far as she swims. She bikes 3 times as far as she runs. And 1 week, she trained a total of 232 miles. How far did she run that week? The question, how far did she run that week, tells me that one of my variables is going to be the distance ran. Your other two variables are going to be distance swam and B, distance biked. Three variables, I need to set up 3 equations. The first one, she runs 7 times as far as she swims. Run 7 times as far as she swims. That means run equals 7 times swim. Same thing with bike. You bike 3 times as far as you run. So bike equals 3 times the run. The last equation is a little tricky here. 1 week she trained a total of 232 miles. That means the distance ran plus the distance biked plus the distance swam is going to equal 232. To start with, I'm just going to go through and set up all these equations, and I'll give you a chance to solve them at the end. Question number 2. At the arcade, Ryan, Sarah, and Tim played video, racing games, pinball, and air hockey. Ryan spent $6. So Ryan spent $6 for 6 racing games, 2 pinball games, and 1 game of air hockey. Sarah spent $12 for 3 racing games, 4 pinball games, and 5 games of air hockey. Tim spent $12.25 for 2 racing, 7 pinball, and 4 games of air hockey. How much did each of the games cost? That tells me that what I'm looking for is the cost of my 3 different games. R is going to equal cost of racing. P equals the cost of pinball. And A equals the cost of air hockey. I feel like this one's set up a little more straightforward as far as how to write your equations. Each one is given to you almost separately. The first one is about Ryan. It says that he spent $6, so that's my total cost, of 6 racing games, 2 pinball, and 1 game of air hockey. Sarah spent $12 for 3 racing, 4 pinball, and 5 air hockey. And the last one, Tim, spent $12.25 on 2 racing, 7 pinball, and 4 games of air hockey. Looking at our last equation, a natural food store makes its own brand of trail mix out of dried apples, raisins, and peanuts. 1 pound of the mixture costs $3.18. It contains twice as much peanuts as apples. 1 pound of dried apples costs $4.48, a pound of raisins $2.40, and a pound of peanuts $3.44. How many ounces of each ingredient are contained in 1 pound of trail mix? So looking at this equation, if we want to know ounces of each ingredient, then those are going to be our variables. We'll say A is ounces of dried apples. I'll just say apples. R equals ounces of raisins. And P ounces setting up our equations here, Some of them are kind of trickier than others. I'm going to start with this. Contains twice as much peanuts as apples. Twice as much peanuts as apples. People mess this equation up all the time. If you already have twice as many peanuts, then peanuts needs to equal twice the number of apples. The other thing you could do is you could say, well, then half of peanuts is going to equal apples, but I don't really like to have to use fractions. The next equation we're going to use has to do with the cost. If 1 pound of the mixture costs $3.18, we're going to assume that that total price is proportional to the cost and amount of each different item. So we're going to say total cost is $3.18, and the apples are $4.48. Raisins, $2.40. And peanuts, $3.44 to create our cost equation. The last thing I want to know is how many ounces are in 1 pound of trail mix. The first thing you have to know is that for a pound of trail mix, that's 16 total ounces. To finish this off, that's going to be my ounces of apples, plus my ounces of raisins, plus my ounces of peanuts. Here are my 3 equations. If you'd like to take the opportunity here, pause your video, go through and solve these 3 different systems, and see if you can come up with the right answer. If you took the challenge and solved these equations, you should have gotten the following answers.